Welcome back to Her Shift. This is the podcast, this is the space where it's all about shifting our beliefs, moving forward as women to have the life that we goddamn deserve. And who would not want that? I am your host, Anna, and I do apologise for the radio silence, quite literally. Obviously, there's been quite a few shifts, but mainly I've been practicing what I preach, and that is to take a pause, take a step back and go, wow, I have really just been coping for a long time. I've been really struggling and I've continued to show up and do the podcast and be online. And now I'm starting to feel a bit better. I've got the confidence to say, actually, I need a rest. With that in mind, Amelia has come round and we have just recorded another episode together. I find that when I'm mentally drained and my bandwidth is lagging, having her there to take accountability and to bounce off each other really works in my favour. I really hope you enjoy the episode. It is about literally being yourself, which sounds so broad and so generalised, but what I mean by that is when we really think about it, and if we hide any part of ourselves, or what have we repressed all this time, and could that be the key to our happiness or our unhappiness? I know it certainly was for me. And the episode is pretty deep and it brings up a lot of conversation about being truthful, being vulnerable, and being honest with yourself. I hope you enjoy. Buckle up, buttercups, because here we go. Hello, welcome back to Her Shift after quite a long hiatus. A lot's happened, mostly with Amelia. And we are here to reflect and we are here to ask some big questions. And it's all about your happiness and the secret to being happy as a woman. It is now the day after the night before. Amelia has done Bloom Into You Masterclass.
Last night.
Do share.
So Bloom Into You is a masterclass all about self-love. And I think it's a really... reflective, but when do we as women ever sit down for 2 hours and think about just ourselves? Like, it's just something we don't do.
Never happens.
No. And the presentation that I go through and setting the women like exercises of what to do in their little journals and stuff, and asking them quite reflective questions, and I think that the sort of the women in the room, obviously everybody's there for a reason, aren't they? They're there because they probably know that they don't really have much self-love, or and so they're seeking that other thing. But I think the biggest thing that I say is, like, actually you have the answers, but it's having the tools to find them answers. And that's what the class is about, really.
Do you think getting them through the door is probably the first step?
Yeah, big step. I think self-love, I think we've maybe spoke about this before, but like the self-love thing, people I think straight away think it's selfish. And I think it's because of this self-love feels too much like the word selfish. So to go and indulge in 2 hours and a self-love masterclass that's called Bloom Into You and has you in the title, I think it's a really big step for somebody to do that anyway. Interestingly, one of the ladies that was there last night said that one of her biggest things is like this guilt. So she had massive guilt yesterday about the fact that she was going to not be doing bedtime at home with the kids because she was coming out to do this thing for her. And I said, it's really interesting because I feel like I maybe was there once, and what I used to do in that instance is be an arsehole and have an argument with my husband because it would make leaving the house easier. And she said, oh my God, that's exactly what I've done. And I said, so actually that isn't his problem. He doesn't have any issue with you going and doing that, but it's your own guilt. But for what reason? What is the guilt? Why? Why do you feel guilty? Your husband's at home with his kids and you're coming out to do something for you. What is it? And she was like, I don't know. Like, I maybe worry that it's like selfish of me to do that. But why? If he was going to play five-a-side or he was going to do whatever, you would be totally fine with that. He wouldn't feel guilty about it. But I think as women, I don't know why, and even in this day and age, like, why do we not feel that it's acceptable for us to go and do them things for ourselves?
I know that I am massively drawn to quite outspoken podcasts and social media, in that you finally can go, thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this happened last night, but I've been to similar events where I think people are maybe projecting what they think should be said.
Yeah.
Or even though it's probably personal what they're writing down, there's still a part of, they're feeding their ego.
Yeah.
And and they think, oh, I've come through the door, I'm here, but they're not actually being real.
Yeah.
They're not actually being truly vulnerable. And like, I just love it, like when I hear like another woman like on a podcast going, especially like how hard motherhood can be, or what an absolute nightmare she can be with her partner at times and the reason why she does it. Or just, sometimes being like, I'll go to the toilet for 20 minutes just to get some me time and admit that, and I'm just,
Yeah. I think all like the whole like self-love manifesting, all of that, like I think it has to, or everything starts with the relationship that you have with yourself. And if you're not being your true authentic self, then you won't be able to like manifest all of these things that you desire, because you won't think that you're worthy. And like you've got to truly love yourself to be your authentic self. Because if you not being your authentic self, not only are you lying to everybody else, but you're lying to yourself, and that's not. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I saw a post recently where they said, you are being really mean to someone in your life. Do you know who it is? And I was thinking, well, to me, I'm guessing, or going, not to you right now. You're being really mean and really unfair to your future self.
Yeah.
I'm like, thinking the actions and the things you're doing now and the way you're treating yourself, that means that future you is not going to have this. It's going to miss out on that. It's going to struggle with this.
Yeah.
Either their mental health or physical health or their lifestyle, their situation. Because we're so into living in the present.
Yeah.
And it's the whole thing, live in the moment, live in the present. And it's like, yeah, you are not loving you. By doing that, you're effectively dissing yourself, actually, aren't you? You're not loving yourself. You're like going, I'm living in the present, what's the matter? Like,
I don't know, I don't actually even know that people are living in the present. Like,
they're not, actually.
As in, like, this, like, well, going on to I just might go off in a different direction here, but when I arrived today, like, obviously I've just moved house and all the rest of it, and I said to you, I feel like in my manifesting journey, like, so much as, like, little things and medium things have like come to fruition, and I've been like, oh my God, like, but the big thing for me was the house, and we've just moved into the house, and I'm now at that point where it's like, oh shit, this actually works, like, this actually works. And actually that is giving me even more confidence. And like last night I stood up in that room with and openly said this. I was like, I completely love myself. And I was like, and my life changed when I fell in love with myself. And I said this to the women, that can actually feel uncomfortable to listen to. Like, that, to listen to somebody saying them words so confidently can actually be really uncomfortable, because I've been there and I used to watch, inspirational women and stuff, and the confidence that they would have and say that but I feel that if I hadn't have put the work into myself, I wouldn't be where I am now. We most definitely wouldn't be in the house.
Yeah.
All of these things, the power behind it, but what it boils down to is that I feel so worthy. And I think we've had this before, the word like lucky. I don't know if I have said this, but I used to always use the word lucky.
Yeah.
I don't use the word lucky anymore.
No.
I use the word worthy. And I am so worthy of everything that I have and everything that I've achieved and that I've manifested, and because I've worked so hard for it. But I could tell that it did feel uncomfortable for some people for me to stand there and say that, but I hope that it only inspires, because I have had a mental health journey, and I'm still on a small dose of antidepressants now, which I'm quite open and honest.
So quickly, and I think to some people as well, they might be like, I'm totally up for this, but then seeing the speed of what's happened to you, they might be like, shit, that's like,
yeah.
And it's also then you realise that you do have full control and responsibility as soon as you give yourself permission.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that can be, again, a little bit, very scary, actually.
It is. Changing anything is scary, and that was one thing that was spoken about last night. When I first started putting myself first, let's say, and doing like a monthly sound bath, and I was going to the sauna weekly or whatever, I will admit there was a bit of tension in the house. Like I was doing things for me, and it was different, and I was missing like bedtimes and stuff, which I already missed bedtimes because of work anyway. And there was a little bit of tension, but I think that once my husband could see that change in me was a positive one, it was like, oh right, I can see this. Because for anyone around you, when you start making these changes of loving yourself, it is a bit hard for other people.
Why do you think that is, though? Because I was going to bring that up and say that I don't think I'm like that as a person. Like, I really do think I've always been like this. I think I'm a cheerleader. I really am encouraging, especially of other women. And when I see people doing big, bold decisions, mainly divorce, I'm like, you know what I mean? At no point do I go, what you doing packing in your job and living your dreams? Or, what you doing going travelling around the world for a year? Or what you doing getting divorced? I am not like that.
No.
So I don't know, is it a projection? Why does it rub people up the wrong way?
Because it reflects on them. 10%. I think, change is a scary thing anyway. When you have somebody who's close to you start making changes, there's a worry, isn't there? There's a worry that their change is then going to affect you and something's going to change.
Yeah.
So I think that is a big thing. But I also think it comes down to, not the word jealousy, but maybe like envy, some people aren't, the fear, again, the fear came up lots last night. Fear is a lot that stops us a lot doing anything really, because it's the fear of change.
It's the ultimate cock blocker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it is, because I think them 12 women that were in the room last night, I don't know how they've woke up feeling this morning, but
they were all scared.
Yeah, they probably will have been. Like, they wrote so much in this like journal that I gave them, and it'll be quite raw. And it's like any masterclass that I do, I always send people away with like actions. Like I feel that it's pointless learning these tools and not walking away with an action to try to implement it. One thing that we spoke about was self-sabotage, and them identifying a self-sabotaging thing that they do and trying to let it go, and just being aware of it. So noticing when it comes up and noticing. I
think a big thing of self-sabotage is not accepting your self-sabotaging.
It is.
I notice that a lot because it's a big thing. It's like to admit something, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you were saying about the woman who would deliberately have an
argument.
Oh, it was you?
No,
it was a friend.
Yeah.
With her husband.
Yeah.
And it's like admitting that. It's like saying, like, I've been a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
But admitting that, and I love hearing people self-sabotaging stories, because some of them are so twisted.
Yeah,
some of the things they'll do, and it's like it's why people get rid of money very quickly if they come into money, because it's like and like. They don't, in their heads, they're going, but no, I want this money. And then it just dwindles so quickly. Yeah. And it's because on some level, they're not accepting of it. They don't think they're worthy of it.
Yeah.
And it's just, the ultimate self-sabotage. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
People do it in relationships as well.
Yeah, well, there was a girl last night, and I think she felt that maybe she was a bit self-sabotaging in relationships. And yeah, I mean, I've spoke about it before, but I feel like my self-sabotaging thing was like alcohol. But it's been a year now. It had my year. I won't say sober because I have had a glass of champagne and, you know, whatever. But it's been a year since I've had a hangover.
So there's a new term for this type of thing.
Okay.
So, you know, like when it's like you can be mostly something, but with on the side.
Yeah.
So it's called with bacon, right?
Okay.
So this is it's almost like if you know, like veganism, it's either you either eat meat and dairy or you are a complete vegan. It's almost like you cannot even dabble. You're not allowed to be somewhere in between, and you can't say, I'm mostly vegan. And there was this woman who she was like, I love everything about the vegan lifestyle. It's what I believe in, especially the sustainability, things like that. She said, but I absolutely effing love bacon. So she said, hang on a minute, what if I'm literally 99% vegan, but maybe once or twice a month I have a bacon sandwich? And then she's like, there is actually no law that says I can't do that. But she said, but I think there is. And then we started thinking, and then she was like, oh, that's what, I'm going to be a vegan with bacon. And then she's like, is there anything else in my life that that for some reason it has to be one or the other, and I can actually just do it with bacon? So, and I was thinking, well, I'm not like that with alcohol, because I'm probably very similar to you. Like, I'll never get drunk anymore. I'll never go that far, but I'll have maybe occasionally at a certain time I'll have an odd glass or something, but because of that I can't say therefore I'm a teetotal.
Yeah.
But no, I am teetotal with bacon.
I love that.
So I thought that was good.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's almost like I want to say, you can have permission to do that. You can do it your way.
Yeah.
Right? And if any person who says, I'm a true vegan, you're not because you have bacon once a month, that's their problem, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, teetotal with bacon. because I suppose that was a self-sabotage. But I think we just, the whole, like, just be kind to yourself and all of that, like, you know, there's that speak to yourself as you would your best friend and but
it's hard to get into that though.
Very.
The only way I can do it is, so the reason I've got that picture of little May on the side there is because I can't imagine being horrible to that little girl. So therefore, when I think about being nice to myself, I'm nice to her. Yeah. It just makes things a little bit easier.
That we had that conversation last night as well, because when I went on my retreat to Forteventura in November last year, one of the things that we had to do was we had to bring a photograph with us from when we were a little girl, and we had to write a letter to this little girl, and it was really, really, really powerful. Like, it was a really good exercise. And actually, yes, it's like
sorry,
it's okay.
Tea went down the wrong hole.
I think you're right in what you say. Like, you would never be horrible, could never imagine being horrible to that little girl, but then we grow and we become older and we get horrible with ourselves, you know.
Really mean.
Yeah.
Really mean. Yeah. But because we're not, it's just, for some reason it's acceptable.
Yeah.
And not. I had a moment recently, and the reason I didn't message you about this is because I know that you were in the throes of moving. But you know, when you were like, at what point did you start loving yourself? And I think mine's been a very, very slow progression, just due to my background, which I know I've talked about on here before. You can't love yourself if you don't know who you are. That's part of the problem. And it's like, well, who am I? What do I like? What is important to me? And as those things have started to come up and up. And I think for me, a big one was when I started using the word no. Because I wasn't allowed to use the word no growing up, and for most of my adult life as well. I never said no to anything. I had to be everything to everybody, and saying no made you selfish. So I never said it. And I really started implementing it recently, especially with work. And I'm not it doesn't make you cruel. It doesn't make you selfish. It's just like, it's even saying, if you don't want to say no, you just go, not my vibe, not my thing. And I've taken that actually from both my children. So I've got one stroppy teenage girl who she's like, nah, not a chance. And also my son, who is the most literal thinking, logical, and he's like going, nah. And I'm going, why do you not want to do that? Because I don't. It's not more complicated. I don't want to do it, you know? And obviously he has that side of him where he's like realizing that actually sometimes it's nice to put yourself out for other people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when we're thinking about tea, and he actually said, well, what would you like to eat tonight, Mum? And that's nice. But yeah, he was like, for him, it's so simple. I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do it. And it's not going to it's not going to make me bad, and it's not going to change anything, you know, it's not going to affect anyone. So I was in a work environment last week, and there were people finishing work and getting ready to go out. And it was involving the usual chat about what they were going to get up to, what they were going to wear, getting their makeup done, alcohol, drugs, the usual. And I think it was sort of like, the fact it was so openly spoken about actually in front of me made me think, wow, this is so base level. And I think there was a time not long ago that even though I'd be thinking that is not my thing at all, I still feel like I'm missing out, or I don't feel worthy enough to be part of that.
Yeah.
And last week it was just like, fuck that.
Yeah.
That sounds horrendous. You are going to feel absolutely shit tomorrow. You're going to lose your weekend.
Yeah.
You're probably going to age yourself 5 years overnight. And I'm really looking, and I thought, so I finished up work, and then I went to the spa at David Lloyd, and which was gorgeous. And it's so funny right now. So the air conditioning, there's like a heater for the spa, is actually broken. So the main spa pool was closed, and it's very chilly in the spa right now. So the whole hotbed line is menopausal women. Loving it because it's so cool. So, oh, it's lovely. It's like literally me and every other woman over 40 is like, oh. I was like, this is living. This is living. And then I had, you know, is it Lemonata? You know, the posh lemonade. I had one of those brought over to me. Oh. Yeah. I got back, and my daughter had got some takeaway in for my tea. And I'm like, oh, take this all day long.
Absolutely living the life.
And then I went and caught up onto me EastEnders in bed watching TV.
Perfect.
And then the next day I woke up feeling good. Yeah. You know, and I just, at no point did I feel like I was missing out.
Yeah. Whereas you would have, you know.
Yeah. And not even like, oh, I didn't feel like mocking towards them as well, but going just like, oh God, to me it would be the same as someone going, yeah, I'm going to climb Mount Everest this weekend. I'd be like, yeah, all right.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, not my bag at all. And being totally okay with that. Yeah. And then thinking maybe deep down, maybe they don't even want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they would, it's a bit Emperor's New Clothes, like they all feel they have to do that, say that, join in.
I think that's the other thing, isn't it, with like falling in love with yourself. You are at risk of like losing friends or changing your circle and all the rest of it. Because actually
you outgrow them.
Yeah, it's a really bold, if you've been in a situation in like say a friendship group, or you've done a certain thing all the time, and then you just think, actually no, I don't know why I'm doing that, it's not like me, it's not, and then you change it, then there is that risk that you're going to lose friends. But then actually, if you're not being authentic, are then people actually your authentic friends?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you're someone who's been through that. Yeah. How did that feel at the time?
I think I just had to do what was right for me. And actually, like, now that I am very much doing what I'm doing, there's friends that I haven't like caught up with for ages, would message them and everything would be fine. It's just that we don't maybe socialise together. But then it's funny because the socialising thing, like, I don't know that I socialise all that much. Like, I do, but not how I used to. Like, to me, the word socialise, now that socialising term, was being in a pub.
Yeah. We're back. So we just had a little interruption that somebody wanted to go to B&M this evening to get a treat because they felt like it. There we go. And that's fine. You are worthy of that. Of course you are. Absolutely. He also wanted to ask as well. So my son's got a lot of sensory issues, and he wants to have really cool hair, but he hates going to the barbers and he hates his hair being cut. So he was just going to ask Amelia if she would maybe cut his hair.
Yeah,
And
I will. We can
So,
do it. I can come round and we do it.
yeah, I think he would just really benefit from having that at home and having a nice soft touch. You know, like at the barbs, like they just
I know, yeah.
You know, so.
Oh, how bad is it? I don't even cut my own kids' hair. I take them to the barbers.
Oh, and I've asked
And my
that of you.
husband. No. Just because I can't be bothered.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I won't ask you for any hair fix just for myself then.
No, I think it's just when it's in you. The kids won't ever sit still for me. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just easier taking them somewhere else. And yeah, I stopped cutting my husband's hair in lockdown because I gave him a really bad haircut in lockdown in the garden. I don't know why. I think I just I hadn't.
You hacked off with him that day. Was it self-sabotage?
Yeah, I think it was just one of them. I couldn't be bothered doing it, and his hair was a mess. And he was like, "Oh, everyone at work's got having the haircut, and they don't live with a hairdresser." So I just did a little buzz cut, and then a couple of the lads were like, "Oh, who's cut your hair?" And he's like, "Oh, my wife. I thought she was a hairdresser." Not in lockdown, I wasn't.
I was just like, so I know we've got off topic, but you know, you think, oh, that's so triggering because I cut my ex-husband's hair for years, but not because of any sort of intimacy or appreciation. It was actually just to save a few quid. And I used to absolutely hate doing it. I used to hate doing it, and it was so messy and...
Well, I think that's one of the main reasons I don't do the hairs at home. It's just the hair getting everywhere, and I've spent all day cutting hair, so I don't want to.
Exactly. And it's I remember just having to, and then you have to hoover them afterwards, and oh god, and then you just get Henry Hoover out.
Yeah.
Anyway, fun times. But we were saying that so socialising is means you mean down a pub or going out.
Whereas I think that is a good one. So okay, what if you were to ask the question, what does socialising mean to you? And to me, socialising meant in that kind of setting. And I think for a long time, even though I knew going out and drinking wasn't serving me, I didn't know what my other options were. But then, now I mix in different circles because one major thing is that I do not mind doing things on my own. I do a lot of things on my own, but then you naturally meet people, and
it's a great thing.
It is. But do you know what's the greatest thing about that is when you have kids and young kids and you have a little bit of a window of opportunity when you can go and do something because you're not having to, look after them. Actually, to try and align other people with that time doesn't always work.
No, that's true.
So I would imagine there's many mums out there that end up doing nothing with that time because they're relying or they're waiting on somebody else. But my biggest thing, I mean, that's the other thing I think we've said before, take yourself for a coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, that is liberating if you've never done it.
Yeah, I think because I'm so used to it.
I am so used to it.
That I don't think about it, but I understand that maybe if you've never done it, and I suppose but people might look at me and I want to go, trust me, they really won't. They really do not care. They really do not care. But yeah, can you imagine, I would call it the toilet mafia. Not vegan with bacon. It's so and so I told you, she used to really bug me. So I'd be in a restaurant or a night out, and I'm going to the loo, and all the girls going together.
Yeah,
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? I don't get it. And I'm like, I don't need to go. So I'm not going to go, oh, but we're all going. And maybe that's the same as well, I can't go to the gym or go for a coffee or just go around the shops on my own. I have to wait until someone else is available. I'm you're going to be waiting a long time.
And that comes down to the self-love, why? If that is truly how you feel, oh my God, I couldn't go for a coffee on my own or couldn't go there. Why? Why can't, I think, again, maybe that might ruffle a few feathers because somebody might be listening to this and be like, well, I wouldn't go for a coffee on my own and what's wrong with that? But I think it just boils down to that, loving yourself and being quite happy within your own company and knowing that you're not having to depend or rely on somebody else. It's so powerful in itself.
I think it's the freedom that comes with that is so liberating. So if I'm child free, the idea that at any point I can just get my bag and get in the car and drive over to the gym, and then I'll listen to a podcast in the car. That's lovely. And then it's like, I don't have to wait on anyone to meet there.
Yeah,
I don't have to, are we going to go in there now? Or are we going to do that class now? Or are you hungry? Shall we get in there? Nah, I'll do what I want. I'll leave when I want. I've not getting the lift with somebody, so I don't have to wait. It's so liberating. I'm going to say, like, please do it. What I'm going to say, like, if it's maybe not a coffee, walk around the shops on your own. I would say, like, I mean, I don't mind going out for food on my own. And it's so good now that you can take your phone or a book or anything. It's just to
especially if it is feeling a bit daunting to do that. Like, but then again, there's so many people that would be listening and be like, well, I would never have time to do that. Well, make time, like, because again, it's that self-love and self-worth. Do you not think that you are worthy of having an hour to yourself to go and have a coffee? Why would you not be worthy of that? Do you know what I mean? I think it's a hard one, you know, talking about change and stuff like that. I think, again, it all comes down to the fear and change, and then again, like, what might people think and what might people say? And one thing that we did speak about last night was, like, everyone has this, like, inner voice. And when I went on this retreat, one of the things that we did was we named our inner voice. Have I spoke about this before?
No.
So we had to name our inner voice. So on the retreat, within, like, the first couple of days, the girls were just, like, firing out, oh, my, you know, Margareta and this name and that name and someone else, you know. And I was just like, I don't know. There's no voice. And for the first time in forever, there wasn't, the voice wasn't there, because I was in what felt to me a really safe environment. I had no responsibilities. I had no phone, so there was no contact. I wasn't responsible for anybody else. Somebody was feeding me. I was rolling out of bed and getting on a yoga mat. You know, it was just having conversations with women from all over the world. There was, like, 11 different nationalities there. There was, like, 16 women, including myself. Like, from the chefs that were there and the two coaches, the yoga teacher, these 11 women who were on the retreat with me. There wasn't a moment, even when I was sat in my own thoughts when we were doing some of, like, the exercises, my mind just felt so quiet. And there was no name, because I was like, I don't know what this voice is. Like, we were saying, one of the girls, for instance, was like, oh, mine is, like, this really angry woman. Like, just this voice is so angry all the time and so negative. And I was like, I don't know what mine is. On the morning that we were leaving me and a few of the girls got up really early to hike up this volcano, because all of the other girls had done it, and we just like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. And then we were like, oh, we're going to be really gutted if we don't do it. So we got up at 5. It was still dark. I was, like, a bit half asleep. I didn't have my phone with me, which then meant I had no torch. One of the girls was like, right, you know, and she had us, like, to me, you would just go on the path of, but no, we would go the scenic route, not the scenic route, we would just go the hardest route, but would be the quickest one up it. So we're, like, trekking through, like, cactus plants and all the rest of it, and I'm, like, trying to keep up with them. And then all of a sudden I could just feel it. I could just feel this voice coming back. So I was quite quiet, which obviously isn't like me. And I turned to one of the girls and I was like, I think, and she was like, yeah. And I was like, what? She was like, I know what you're going to say. I was like, what? She was like, you think your voice is back? And I was like, yeah. She was like, I can feel it. She was like, I can literally feel it coming off you. Like, so then we were all laughing, right, come on. So, like, right, tell me about it. What is she doing? What is she so much? And I was like, I'm worried. I'm like, I don't have a torch and you're walking really fast. I don't fucking know where you're going. I don't know if you're going to take me to the right part of the volcano that I want to go to. I'm really worried that we're not going to get back in time, and I don't want to, like, out of respect, wouldn't want to be late because we had, like, a session at 8 a.m. and and my mind was just like, oh my God. Then also it was this, like, oh shit, I'm going home today. I have to go back to reality. I've been in this bubble. I'm like, and so it was worry. That was the underlining thing. All of these things, yeah, anxious and whatever, but the bottom line was worry, that my voice was this worry and the overthinking of everything. So then the girl that I shared a room with was German, and she was like, yes, worry. And I was like, yeah, worry, but I can't call it worry. She was like, no, worry. And I was like, Rory. And she was like, and then she was like, no. And anyway, to cut long story short, if you ask a German person to say worry, it sounds like Rory. So the voice is named Rory. Since I've give Rory a name, she's a lot quieter, or she's easier to make quiet. So that was one thing that I'd said to the girls last night. Like, that wasn't part of the class. I'd gone off on a tangent as always, but name it, name the voice, so that when she crops up, you can recognize that that's not really the authentic me. That's this voice. And so let her have her moment, which I do now. I let her have a moment. And then I'm like, you're being ridiculous. Shut up. And that to me is another thing I think that has helped me to become my authentic self, because I recognise that you're always going to have them voices and, the anxiousness and the worry and the overwhelm and all of that. But I can identify.
It's that, and like you said, don't stuff them down.
Yeah,
don't silence them.
Absolutely. Let them have the moment.
They're totally valid. I've done that for a while, so I wasn't sure if it was like my ego or my whatever, but I called mine Alexis. So after Alexis Carrington, which was Joan Collins's character in Dynasty.
Yeah.
Because that for me was just unashamedly, unapologetically someone who, fabulous, and like very bitchy, very ruthless.
Yeah.
But she did not give a shit, did she? Always got what she wanted. But the whole idea was like she was not changing for anyone.
Yeah.
Even when she fell in love, she was still, And so now it's like, because I've accepted Alexis, who is a bit angry and defensive and, like the bitch and all that, she's much nicer and a lot softer because I've given her a voice. Yeah. So she, instead of like going, going, don't like this, going and making snipey comments, I'm like, what's up, Alexis? Come on, what's gone? And then it'll go, well, I thought if this happens, then this will happen, and and it means he doesn't love you anymore. Like, okay, if you've said what you think, I'm like, yeah, okay. All right, it's okay, Alexis. And then it's okay. And then it's like, whereas if I'd stuffed that down, it would just be bubbling.
Absolutely. And I think that's the other thing, isn't it? But that's getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
This is the other thing. When do we give ourselves time to get to know ourselves? I mean, we do, because we obviously know ourselves, and we are on the other side of this, where we are now living a more authentic life. And I feel really passionate about the fact that anybody can do that. And it's just having the tools.
I've got like as I said to you before, I think I've got a litmus test for this, because there'll be some people who are seemingly happy and doing what they think they want to do. What the question I would ask is, if you were doing your life right now as you are in the job, you're in the relationship, whatever, and suddenly people didn't approve, because you might be doing something that people approve of. Maybe you work in the NHS, or maybe you're a teacher, or maybe you've got like a very nice 2.4 lifestyle dynamic going on. So to the outside world, they're like, yeah. What if those close to you suddenly actually didn't approve of how you were living? Would you still live like that?
Yeah.
And I think, and if you would, great. You love yourself, you're accepting it. But if you're saying like, then I think that's saying actually you're just getting away with it because you're living something that is deemed acceptable by society. Yeah. But what if you weren't? And then that's when you got to give yourself permission to firstly love yourself, but also to live the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
Are you going to hurt anyone, really?
No.
Yeah.
But then you're always hurting yourself, aren't you, by not being that authentic, not being your authentic self. You are hurting yourself. I think it's food for thought, and I think I would hope that anybody that is listening has had like a few thought-provoking, questions asked, and it's that thing of like, am I being true to myself, or am I living for somebody else?
I thought I'd just mention this was, when I said that some of the women that I've always envied, and it was bizarre, I said they worked in adult content or were glamour models, even porn stars. And it's not like I'm envying their jobs. It's more that the ones that were thriving, enjoying what they were doing, and had that friends and family support.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's one right that she's one of the top OF girls, Rebecca Gibson, and she's doing amazing things with her money. Like she's doing affordable housing for vulnerable women. She's like leaving a legacy. Like she's amazing, and she does hardcore porn. She's very accepting of herself. She loves herself, and her family love her too.
Yeah.
And that to me, I'm like, wow. And it just made me realise that if you have that acceptance of yourself, but having that support
around you, it's
like she would she do it anyway? She would click sort of woman that would do whatever she wants.
Yeah. But it would be harder.
Yeah.
It would be harder.
Yeah.
Because I think and it is the difference. I think that's the difference again from this, like, you know, this concept of like loving yourself and then like the change that might come with it and who you might upset and all the rest of it. That's what then makes it hard. But I truly believe that if the people around you truly love you and are the right people to be around, then they will just follow along.
Yeah.
Like they will just, you know, embrace whatever it is that you're doing.
They want to make sure you're okay. They want to make sure you're safe. But yeah, I just can't imagine being conditioned, like, or saying conditional love to my children, going, I'll only love you if.
Yeah.
You just, I cannot imagine it. But we're effectively putting ourselves in that box.
Absolutely.
I'll only be accepted, I'll only be loved if I tick these boxes. Yeah. So that to me is like, that is being like truly authentic. And I'd say, ask yourself this now. If you had complete and utter permission, you know that whatever you did didn't hurt anybody, didn't ruffle any feathers, you could do it, what would that be? You might be living it already, but I'm going to guess you're probably not. And if that is, what would that be? And dare to speak it and dare to put it down. Yeah. No matter how out there, how crazy, how ridiculous it sounds, as soon as you speak that into existence, there'll be a little bit part of you that comes back to life.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was food for thought, wasn't it?
Yeah. Did we get under an hour?
We are. We're only we are that today. So I know that you're really busy with the whole house move, potentially cutting Griff's hair, but have you got any other projects coming up?
Yeah, so I'm really hoping to get my Manifest Masterclass online as like a digital product so people can buy it and do it in their own times. Like watch this space, and hopefully that will be happening soon when I stop procrastinating about doing it. But yeah, and we've got things coming up. We've got the Yoga Nidra next Wednesday.
Oh, I need to look at that, don't I?
Yeah. And then we've got another long table dinner next month. But masterclass wise for me, I haven't got anything else. I'm doing a women's festival. Oh, sorry. A women's festival. Sorry, I did say I was going to put that on airplane mode. At the end of June, there's the WOW Festival, which is a women-only wellness festival. It's just outside of Northallerton, and it's the weekend, but the Saturday and the Sunday, the 2 days when there's workshops going on, every type of wellness, well-being that you can possibly imagine. You can just go for the day, you can go for the full weekend. So I'll be doing my workshop, facilitating my workshop on the Saturday and the Sunday. But I am going to tweak it a little bit. I'm going to do a bit of a mix between the Bloom Into You and the Manifest, and I'm going to sort of take some snippets of both and put that together. So I'll be facilitating that weekend. And then I'm going to really try and enjoy the summer with the boys before we move out of the house and do this shale, which that's a whole other thing. We won't go into that right now. But
she's bought a dream house, but it needs work.
It needs to be made into the dream house, I think. I bought the shell.
Yes, it's there.
So yeah, I think, again, the self-love, like, God, this year for me has been amazing. And I've just said yes and thrown myself into a million things, but actually at what cost? And I'm recognising that, which I never would have done before. I'd have hit burnout, whereas now I'm like, no, I recognise like these things are all amazing, but actually, you know what? Let's just take a little break from doing the masterclasses in person because my time's, just getting pulled, and so I really feel like now for me it's the other side of it. So a lot of things have come to light that I've manifested, so it's like, wow, this shit's happening. But then also it's like all of this stuff that I've learned, it's like, no, I need to put it into practice now. Like, I do love myself, I need to be kind to myself. So yeah, like as much as I want to go a million miles an hour and do everything, I recognise that I can't. And I think that's really good for me.
Absolutely.
And it makes me feel like I'm further on in my journey.
You are radiating self-love. So hands on our hearts. I love myself.
I love myself.
Yes. And I really hope that you love yourself too. And if there's anything you can take away from today, it's just please just find one little part of you, speak your truth, be true to that person, and be kind to yourself, your future self.
Absolutely.
Forgive your past self. And yeah, however you want to do it, just honestly, but why are we so mean? Why are we so mean?
Why are we so mean?
Yeah, okay. So hopefully we're going to have another episode much sooner next time.
Yes.
I was just practicing what I was preaching. You know, I was like taking a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break. But do you know what? I'm shifting. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm on it. We're going to do more. It's going to be we're going to bloom into ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I've just noticed, Amelia, like, cause we've both had a braces journey. God.
Yeah.
How Hollywood do we look?
I used to smile like this.
Me too.
And now I'm like that.
That's self-love.
Yeah.
So I will leave you with that thought and our $1 million smiles. And I always say, like, what? Please keep going. You are doing amazing. You are stronger than you think. Please, please, please love yourself. And as always, sending all our love to.
Bye.